श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुखकर कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम्। कन्दर्पगणित अमित छवि नवनीलनीरद सुन्दरम्। पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम्। श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम। श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम। श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुखकर कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम्। कन्दर्पगणित अमित छवि नवनीलनीरद सुन्दरम्। पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम्। श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम। श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम।
I should restart. Am I audible? Okay. Online, I'm audible. Mic to Akshay.
So, Father, what is ego? What does it look like? Like for me, it's generally image of the face or image of the body, generally, and it comes in pictorial form. That's why I'll call it subtle thought. Or
Yes.
what does it look like? And Father, one more thing. When I was in 7th or 8th standard,
Yes.
so I didn't have a spiritual guide or book available. So the thoughts used to come in voice form, in form of sound, and I started inquiring automatically, and the voice completely stopped for many months, but thoughts kept coming in image form.
Okay.
So the idea was, like, belief was, I must be at least something, at least something. So I still identify with these subtle thoughts. What should I do? My attention is generally always on this ego, but the belief is also happening. That's the problem.
You said last part, belief is also?
Belief is also so strong, like it's automatically happening.
Nice.
Attention is also on ego, and the belief is also. Yeah. So what should I do? Like, should I remove the attention from it?
Thank you. So what is this ego? What is this ego? The believed in idea of being something or somebody. So Munna is calling. Munna? How do we turn this off? Who would it have had to be for you to say, let's take the call? So what is this ego? What does it look like? Does it even look like anything? What happens when we believe a notion of a me, of a somebodyness? Isn't it? So suppose that right now you are a blank slate. There is no belief that you are Akshay or this man, this body. None of that is there. Now you started getting some thoughts that you are this person who lives in Gorakhpur, let's say, for example, that this person is 65 years old, they're a man, they're a good person, they don't tell lies, all this you believe in. Now, once you believe in this idea of this man from Gorakhpur, then how is that, what does that man look like? Now you could have some image of that man also. So when you say, okay, this is, the man looks like this, for example, anything. So then you could create an image of that man also. So the more you add to the belief system for that 65-year-old man from Gorakhpur, the more value that narrative seems to have. You see? And soon enough, you will want to know what happened in his story next. You see, what is happening to that one. So although no such entity has ever existed, you see, there, because of our recurring nurtured belief in the separate identity called the ego, called the me, the somebody, it starts to feel more and more real. See? So actually, when investigated, we don't find any such entity. We find a sense of existence, we find all this sensory perception, all of this is tasted, but the separate entity is not found. Therefore, on the Advaita Vedantin path, you will just negate the existence of any such separation, and you will rely on the sense of being itself, the holy sense of being, the Atma itself as the one that exists. Now, many times you will notice for yourself that this is subtle. So you'll notice that on top of the sense of being, there seems to be a sense of being somebody. You see, like a sense of being somebody. But you are not to bother with that. You are just not to nurture it. You see? So suppose that there's a weed in your garden, but you know what feeds it. So you don't need to pull it out. You need to stop feeding it. So when you stop feeding it with narrative, with idea of meanness, then itself that sense of separation will go away. But if you start trying to tackle that I must get rid of this sense of separation, then it will become more and more amplified, because more attention, more belief will go to that. Now, the second part of the question is about the mechanics of attention and belief. What happens? So when you bring your attention to a thought, you see, then in the light of that attention, it is brought into existence, that I am Akshay. No? Now, but just attention is not all that you can do with it, isn't it? There is some mechanism within you with which you give truth value to the thought, that this is true. You see? And you also, that same mechanism in this negative, you can negate truth value to that. Like in the intellect you may say, this is not true. So that power of belief, when we apply that I am Akshay, believed in, I want this, believed in, or I don't want that, believed in. You see, so it creates a construct of a seeming personality on the basis of belief. You see? So, again in Advaita Vedanta, we say that we must, if to drop attention is too difficult, because the more you try to withdraw attention, the more difficult it seems. But, so if I say the thought is coming, I am an orange, you see? And to withdraw attention from that thought seems to be recurring, maybe images of oranges are coming, various ways are coming, you see. But I say, okay, now you at least don't believe the notion that you are an orange. To withdraw belief is much simpler, you see. It is not always easy, because whatever we've nurtured as a belief in the past, that seems to be more attractive for us, you see. So our job in tapasya is to not fall into the notion of the me, even though we may have nurtured it many times. So if somebody has nurtured the idea that I am an excellent skater, and somebody comes and tells them you are a rubbish skater, you don't know skating, then that will affect them, because that identity has been nurtured. For somebody else who's a singer, you come and tell them you are a terrible skater, it doesn't bother them. So it is not in the construct of the thought itself, but what we have nurtured into our identity, which seems to make it more real. So in actuality, no real shape of the ego. There is a seeming sense of separation which will dissolve as you stop nurturing it and you remain in the no mind. Now, then why do we talk about bhakti? You see, if this seems quite straightforward, but for many of us it is not straightforward. To remain empty of topics, especially to become empty of the topic of topiclessness, of being empty of topics. That seems to become then, the new topic seems to be, I am empty of topics. I don't have plans, I live spontaneously. You see, so all of these new opposing notions seem to get value again. So the other safe refuge is that if we remove the older protagonist of the topic and we replace it with a newer protagonist, which is God. You see? So bhakti is an attempt to replace all the nurturing that has happened to the me within our antakarna with the same nurturing happening for God in the antakarna. So instead of negating the topic of the me, we replace the topic. So the me is replaced now with Ramji, or whichever aspect of God gets your resonance, gets your heart, pulls your heart. Then that pathway to fill ourselves, to replace the filling up with the me, with the filling up with godliness, with thoughts of God, with emotions for God, with imaginations of God, with the entire, all our layers are then replaced by God. So then that is the pathway of bhakti. Both of them are effective, both of them work. You see? Now even in the so-called direct path of Advaita Vedanta, the experience of people has been that the slightest sense of me still remains. And they realize that the only safe refuge for the slightest sense of identity is still to bring it to the refuge of God. You see? And then for a bhakta also, they can become easily proud of their bhakti. They can easily get into pride that I see Ramji. Ramji lives with me only. He is mine only. You see, the onlyness starts to come, or I am somebody special in my bhakti. So this pride comes. And for a bhakta then to realize again and again that I am nobody, I am nothing, you see, which is a Jnani's perspective, is also then very useful. So, in the natural progression of our spirituality, which is a discipleship of the spirit itself, discipleship of the Atma itself, then a bhakta naturally becomes a Jnani, and a Jnani naturally becomes a bhakta as well. That's the lay of the land, so to speak.
And Father, is there something called collecting the mind and then surrendering, instead of first surrendering and doing it? Because first, if I immerse myself in devotion, I have one experience in past. So for 10 days I immersed myself listening to bhajans and singing bhajans, and then surrender happened, and I had feeling of death here. So, but my experience is first I collected the whole mind, whole something called being, or I don't know, and then the surrender happened. So that was easy surrender. Whenever the ego used to come, I used to surrender it to God, moment to moment. Yeah.
So whichever pathway you are following, that in itself implies that the collection will happen. First, it seems like for example, if you're using God's name, then a recollection will happen, which is a collection only. So we collect all the faculties, not just the thought-oriented faculties, but the emotion, but the imagination, but the memory. Everything seems to get collected and become one-pointed, and then Ram, Ram, Ram. Then in that process of taking God's name, all this collection starts to happen, and you notice that. And then initially, although it may have felt like I'm doing this, I'm making the effort using God's name or the self-inquiry to pull myself inwards, turning inwards, then you will see that there is another force from within which pulls all of this to the inside. You see? So that becomes then God's grace pulling us. So initially, yes, this collection happens, but you don't have to make a separate attempt. You don't have to say, okay, now I'm collecting the mind, now I'm collecting memory, now I'm collecting imagination. You don't have to make that. Just whatever practice you're following, keep doing that. That practice is designed to do that whole thing for you. You see? So just like you boarded the flight, then you don't have to worry when the wings will expand and when the wheels will go in. You know, all of that is a natural part of the process. Yeah?
Thank you, Father.
Very welcome. Suppose in this silly example is coming, I don't know if it's helpful, but suppose in this universe that you wake up and only half of it is visible to you. Only half of it was visible to you. You see, so what happens is, suppose the line is this old airport road. So everything on this side of old airport road is visible to you, everything on that side of old airport is not visible to you. So that part of Bangalore is not visible to you. You see? Now, in our life, a similar thing has happened where that which seems to be outside our senses seems to be apparent to us, visible to us. But that which is on the other side of the senses is not apparent to us. That seems like a mystery, and it is a beautiful mystery, so it's not a bad thing that it's a mystery. So spirituality is the coming to the discovery of what is on that side. You see, usually this is called the outside, so the outside is visible to us and the inside is not apparent to us. So spirituality is a searching for that which is on the inside. You see? So just like you would not settle, or maybe you would settle if it was just invisible after old airport road. You see, maybe you would just settle and say, leave it. It's invisible to everyone, no? Then it's fine. Then a few irritating ones come, like the ones on the wall, and they come and say, but look on the other side. You see? So you may find them irritating for some time and leave them. Or the ones that catch fire because they have told you that there is something on that side. There is someone on that side. And that someone on that side is the true one. You see? So if you live your life without exploring that one, these ones on the walls would have said that we have not lived at all. So who lives on the other side? God Himself, in the form of His presence, the presence of His existence, the presence of His being, in the form of the Atma within, lives on the inside. And the beauty of this is that the sages have told us that even turning on the inside, antarmukhi, they are always happy. They are sada sukhi. So the one who is inward facing is always happy. It's not even said about whether you come to Atma Gyan, whether you come to Atma Darshan, whether you come to Brahma Gyan, God realization. They've not said any of this. They've said when you have become inward facing, already you are going to be happy. So who lives in your heart? Who lives in your heart? That is the exploration. So my proposal to all of you is that it is God Himself who lives in your heart. You see? Now that should be exciting news for all of us, that I can find God so easily, so intimately He is available to me in the form of His presence living in my heart. The Atma lives within. So I'm not telling it to you like a theoretical construct. I don't want you to buy this notion and say, wow, how do I know the Atma lives in my heart? Because Ananta told me. I trust him. He told me the Atma lives. So then it becomes just a conceptual idea. It has to become your living reality. It has to become your quote-unquote experience. It will be a different type of experience, and that's why I say quote-unquote. But it will be your experience. And you probably already have an intuitive sense that all that happens on the outside is not created on the outside. Tell me if you have this sense that all that happens on the outside. So it is said in the scripture, and Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi also said, in whose light is the light of the sun seen? It seems like in the light of the sun we are able to see the world. In whose light do we see the light of the sun? Is that outside of us or inside of us? So to live as if only this outside exists, maybe starting from the sensations of the body outwards, is our entire existence, is a fallacy. So I'm encouraging all of you to look within, and in the looking within you will find God's presence, God's light. He is, she is universally available to all of us. So, in whose light do we see darkness? Now, what I said is very straightforward. I've said God's presence lives in your heart. You have to look inward. If you keep looking inward, you will find Him. You see? So, why is that so difficult then? Why is that so difficult? Why are there so few? Over centuries, we've collected maybe 100 images of sages to put on the wall. You see? And 100 is not much in a population of billions that have come and gone. It seems difficult because conveniently we call this outer pulling force, or the one that pulls us towards blocks us from looking inwards, we call that Maya. You see? And what happens when you give your attention, like we were discussing earlier, when you give your attention and belief to the me, when you lead a me-centric existence, you can't really turn inwards.
ये एक और चाय। हाँ पहले ये दो, हाँ दोनों साथ में दे दी। ये टूटा है क्या?
हाँ,
पानी है उसमें।
I'm trying to find the mute option.
पाव नहीं चाहिए हाँ।
So from, this is a very good example. From the last 5 minutes, what do you remember? This distraction is probably remembered the most. So what happens is, this is how Maya works. No? That you could be immersing into something, and then suddenly there will be something which either glorifies the me or pokes the me, irritates the me, and then all our focus energy goes into all of that, and quickly we forget all about turning inwards. So it happens to us, and I'm speaking from experience, that we may want to spend the entire day in God. Hopefully that's how we start our day. but then some stream of thoughts starts getting our attention and belief, and before we know it, it's the end of the day and no time has been spent with God. So Maya is the stealer of time. It just steals slowly. Don't say I'm here to kill your spirituality or something like that. Just say, for now what is important is for you to focus on the me. For this moment what is important is this me problem.
Maya makes you feel like one moment is nothing. It's okay.
Exactly.
Like one moment is nothing.
Exactly.
Like one day also probably nothing, but that one moment is not
Exactly.
nothing.
It's definitely not nothing. That's my whole point of satsang, that what is that value of that single moment which could have been spent in God's presence? You see? So thank you, that's my exact point, that one moment is very valuable.
Yeah.
You see? It's very valuable. So every moment is very valuable. And remember that why I'm saying this is not so that you can look at the past and feel guilty about that, but just inspire you not to waste any more time on the me. You see? Realize the value of the moment that you're exchanging God for.
We can just remember that Maya's whole project is to waste time.
It's just waste time. You see? But what happens when you are caught in Maya? You see? What happens is that it doesn't seem like a waste of time.
No.
It seems like this is very important. I am very important right now. What I am feeling, what I am thinking, what is happening to me, all of that seems very important at that point of time. Now suppose that let's even say that something was happening, which an Advaitin will say has never happened, but let's say something was actually happening. Now, in my proposal in those times is to say that isn't this better with God, no matter what it is that is happening? Why keep God out of it?
Father, because in Maya you want to be right. That is the trap.
Correct. It offers us things which have no value, isn't it? But they seem like the most valuable.
Yeah.
You see? So when you're arguing at home, for example, then in that moment to feel right seems like the most important thing. You see? But what is the value of that? We even talked about the non-existent nature of this me. What is the value of that being right? Nobody coming in to give you an award. Even if, what is the value of that award, even if you get? You see?
And in those times, that one moment means nothing. Like
nothing. Exactly.
Not like a waste.
Exactly. So that is the hypnosis of Maya. That moment may not even seem nothing. It may seem very important for the me to be right. You see? It may seem very important as a moment that I have to be right now. So this is the trick. So spirituality has this opposing force called Maya. You see? And like all opposing forces, the opposing force of Maya is countered with love. You see? Love is the only counteracting force. Even if we say truth, then there has to be a great love for truth to counteract that force of Maya. So, and the greater our love for God becomes, the greater our love for truth becomes, the easier it becomes moment to not want the me to be right, not want the me to be important, not want the me to be in the center of the frame. You see? So, a constant deepening of that love leads to something called faith. And then when our faith is strengthened, then the same thing which may have seemed so important for the me a few months or weeks ago, then it doesn't seem as important. So, and when our faith is strengthened, then that which would have been so important a few weeks ago for the me.
How does love lead to faith?
How does love? You have to try it out. I said probably. Like an exercised love is like, I don't know what I'm saying, but it seems like an exercised love is like faith, like a strengthening of faith. So in the Indian system of tapasya, or any actually spiritual system which is practice oriented, what are we practicing? You have a sense of using whatever tool has been given to you as the practice to not get into the me. And depending on the tool, to bring us to God or to leave us empty of the me, which naturally then there's a gravitation which pulls us towards God. But the most important point is that we cannot waste, like we cannot waste time. Firstly, we have to see that we are wasting time. Mostly when we are caught in the hypnosis of the me, we don't see it as a waste of time. You see? So, and the more resolute we become in this, that if me is in the center of the frame, then it is not worthwhile, that time spent is not worthwhile. We see it spiritually, we see it even intellectually now, that how can it be worthwhile to spend time on a non-existent entity, you see? But when the rubber hits the road, that is the time to act on it. That is the time to not leave God's light, to not fall for the me, becoming the protagonist again. We'll pass the mic to Atma at the back.
For practical thoughts, like let's say I'm thinking of buying a gift to thank someone who has given, like rendered a service. I don't know if you say that. There's no need to be a me involved, and there's nothing, I feel there's nothing that is really like poking, or there's no suffering involved or anything. So those kind of thoughts are not so problematic, right? Or should we add like the presence of God in those moments also?
Every moment not spent in the presence of God is a wasted moment. So once we learn how to be anchored in the presence of God every moment, you see, then you will see that mostly we are living a life inspired by the heart itself, but sometimes a thought may come up with a quote-unquote practical solution, and that is fine as long as you're not leaving God. So let's look at it this way. Suppose Lord Krishna was sitting in this room. Now, how many times must you leave this room for practical things in the world?
Actually, the thought was to buy a Radha Krishna Murti to someone. So there was a thought of God in the practical thought. I'm joking, half joking, but...
So, but how many times would it make sense to leave the room if Krishna is
Zero.
here. So, if God lives in your heart, then everything, inner life, outer life, everything is better with God. So then that removes any sort of rationality to, okay, but this is practical, this is spiritual, all this then gets integrated into one life which is for God.
Also, the fact that I thought of offering a murti is influenced by the fact that I'm immersing myself more and more into God, for sure, you know. Otherwise, it could have been, I don't know, makeup, I don't know, blush, or, you know.
What we fill ourselves up with, that seems to reflect in every aspect of our life. She put up her hand and then went into samadhi. I feel like the Atma has already answered her question from within.
You know, I have this question. When I put my hand after it so much. It simply doesn't want me to speak. It doesn't want me to speak. When I put my hand up, all this grace is coming on to me. So, I actually wanted to ask you, because I prayed in my heart a few weeks ago to be able to drop everything and actually benefit of this darshan when it's coming. Is it loud enough? No? Oh.
I prayed a few weeks ago to drop everything.
Because I think I heard you in one satsang, whenever this darshan comes, take it all in. And if you speak on top of it, you don't really let yourself immersed.
You're trusting me to be much more intuitive than I am. Can you specify more clearly what you're saying?
So I put my hand up,
Yes.
and all this grace comes to me.
Yes. Before that it was not coming.
Before that was not so potent.
Just messing with you. Okay, so all this grace is coming then?
And then there was this question or observation, because I also want to buy a Radha Krishna Murti, but I dropped it because I wanted to go in retreat, at least for a period of time. Okay. So, and I also noted whenever there was a desire for something, not whenever, but there are cases that something comes to you.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you if there is any point in wanting something.
No.
Because I also see sometimes this wants can keep you away from the truth.
Desire is one of the main blocks that Maya creates to keep us away from God.
Would you bless me to have no desire other than Him, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
So Sudamaji grew up with Lord Krishna, one of his closest friends, Lord Krishna's closest friends. So it so happened that he got into a life of poverty. Sudamaji went into a life of poverty. He didn't have anything. So his wife one day said to him, "Why don't you go? You say Krishna is such a good friend of yours. I think you're just talking big. He doesn't really care for you. If he really means something to you, go. Go and ask him for help. See your situation. See your family, how much we are struggling." So then Sudamaji said, "Okay, I'll go and meet my friend and ask him for help." So beautiful meeting between Lord Krishna and Sudamaji happened. But throughout the time he was there with Lord Krishna, he could not get himself to ask for anything specific. He could not get himself to say, "Please give me this. I'm really struggling in my life." In fact, he gave him these puffed rice, pohe, whatever it's called in English. So he said, "My wife has prepared for you. I know it is your favorite. So please have this rice." And Krishna loved it. He just ate it and gave everyone. That's a beautiful story. But anyway, so throughout his time, he was in so much joy, he did not ask, and also he felt like when something is so intimate, you don't want to ask anything. You just feel such an intimate love. It seems like the sanctity of that is broken by asking or wanting something, isn't it? So in the same way, the closeness, the intimacy of our relationship with God keeps growing in such a deep way that you have so much trust, you have so much faith, that to ask for something specific then seems more and more alien. But I have a disclaimer to that, which is that if you are going to sit and worry about something, then it's better that you ask instead and give it to God. Anyway, so returning to the story. So now Sudamaji is on his way back, and he lives in a small hut. So he's on his way back. While on his way back, he starts worrying about what his wife is going to do now. That not only did you went and met the king of Dwarka, one of the richest kingdoms in the world, but you did not even ask for a tiny piece of gold that could have taken care of our lives. You didn't ask for anything at all, and you have come back empty-handed. He felt like he's in for big trouble. So as he's going back, he's walking towards his hut, but instead of his hut, he sees the palace of Dwarka, where he just left his friend Krishna and came. And he felt like, I must have lost my way somewhere. What has happened? I've taken the wrong set of turns and I've gone back to the palace in Dwarka. But he said, "No, I couldn't have. This is the right way. The path, all of that is the same, that leads to his house." Then he comes close, and then there are guards at the gate welcoming him, saying, "Our Lord, you have come back from your travels." There are servants who are willing to take care of him, ready to take care of him. And Sudamaji was just for a few moments very confused. What is happening? Is this a dream? What is going on? Then he sees his wife dressed like the queen of the palace. She's dressed like the queen, and everything that he saw that Lord Krishna had in his palace, he saw that in this place. Which then his wife told him that when he was away, then all of this started to happen, and she became the queen of this palace, and he is the king. So then his entire life was taken care of in such abundance. Now the beauty of the story is that if Sudamaji had asked for something, what would he have asked for? Ask for one piece of gold, or maybe one necklace, something. So when we ask with our mind, our capacity is so limited. What will we ask for? But if we just deepen in our love with God, in our friendliness with God, in our oneness with God, then He gives us more than we can ever fathom, we can ever calculate. So we must leave it to His capacity, you see, because what He wants to give us we cannot even fathom. So that is the beautiful message of the story, that one, that we develop such a great intimacy of love that there is no wanting and asking in this love. And secondly, that to rely on our mental, intellectual capacity to ask for what we want is too limited compared to what God actually wants to give us. And all our spiritual lives, whether we realize it or not, are testimony to that. If you really are able to look closely, you will see that this is true already in all our lives. Compared to what we could ask for, we have been given much more. Do you feel that that same Lord lives in your heart? Okay, let's go to Nupur.
Hello, Father.
Hello.
Sorry, I have a bad throat, so I might sound a bit croaky today.
No worries. No worries.
Father, when you say that everything is better with God's presence and everything in our life that we are doing, I noticed that during the mundane tasks of living life here, the only time I'm able to bring God in is sometimes while I'm cooking, but other tasks which are like, very, very mundane tasks, there is only mental chatter, Father. It's mostly irritation that, oh my God, this is a wasted time. Like if I'm doing laundry or I'm doing dishwashing or dusting and vacuuming, because it's just that I've started noticing that somewhere the God's presence in that moment, a remembrance doesn't happen, Father. And today's satsang brought it very clearly to me that how much time I'm missing in but just doing it mundanely. How do I shift that, Father? How do I bring, because when I'm sitting and I'm remembering God, there is love, and it's mostly your words resonating that God is here, God is real, and that's where I feel the love. Or when I'm watching Ramayan on television, that, there's so much love and bhajans that we listen to. But when I'm doing these mundane chores or like practical things, or when I'm working with patients and clients, that's even then, I just start by invoking God's presence that God, this is your work, and please flow through, let the intelligence flow through that. But somewhere I feel, Father, that 70 to 80% of the time I'm not able to remember God, and I'm almost feeling like, my God, that's such a huge waste, Father.
Very, very. So, take me through it. So, suppose you're vacuuming. Why does it get in the way of your being with God, or at least God's name?
I think it's only a habit, Father, because I've done it for so long with a sense of this task has to be just ticked off and done it because it's just one of those, things that has to be done. And for the longest time with irritation that I have to do this. So it's just that, Father, it doesn't invoke something very holy. I feel like, it's just a habit, Father. It's nothing more than that. It's just a habit of doing it quickly so I can get to the next more fruitful thing, which is probably either work with, professional work or actually sitting with God. It's just a habit, Father. There's nothing else to it.
So, we have to make our practice of taking God's name a constant, unceasing practice. So, the more you resolve to do it, the more this old habit will break. Okay? So, it may happen that initially you don't catch yourself in this nonsensical mental chatter, and you realize later, but then when you realize, you return to God's name. So more and more, then it'll like, I feel like what you're calling mundane work is a great opportunity from God. You see, because in this, during the dishes, vacuuming, all of this, then we can easily apply most of our faculties to remembering God, to taking His name.
Even though it feels mechanical, Father?
Especially because it does.
Okay.
Especially because it does. Suppose that it was something new and something that you had to apply yourself a lot to, like with patients, it may be a lot more difficult to stay with God's name when you're counseling someone, isn't it? Because you have to be so vigilant to what they're saying, listening to what they're saying, then so open your heart to responding from there, and all of that process is also beautiful. But if there's a lot of this, what you call mundane work, and it's mechanical, then you can easily use that to stay with God's name constantly.
Yeah, that's so true, Father, because I used to hate cooking, earlier. But when I came to satsangs with you again, I started offering the food that I was making to God, like I'm making it for God. And I started giving bhog, Father, which I have never done since 2 years, and now I've started enjoying it, Father. So it transformed one practice so beautifully, but somehow it didn't occur to me till very recently. One of your posts actually brought this to me that I'm wasting so much time, Father. So thank you, Father. I'll start putting and applying to the mechanical things also now. And
Mechanical things first, look at them as God's grace in your life, that you have time which goes in these things where you can easily stay with God's name.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes I just felt like, Heart Temple, which Father you helped us realize is so beautiful that I feel like I need, and in my Heart Temple, Father, I invoke your presence and Sai Baba's presence and Hanumanji, because I can hear the name, Father, from you and from them. Neem Karoli Baba saying Ram Nam. So I feel that I need to be in that sanctum sanctorum to say God's name, Otherwise, if I'm out of my Heart Temple, somehow as if it's not right to say the name, Father, somewhere that mental construct
Yes,
was.
yes, yes, yes. We'll break this construct because it's very important, especially when you're dealing with the world, even in the mechanical things, to stay with God's name, because that is your anchor. That will keep you anchored in the heart.
Yeah.
So there is no such regulation. In fact, the name of God can be taken in any situation. There is no restriction. Like you don't have to worry about purity of the body or if you had a bath or none of those things.
Thank you.
There is no regulation to it. You can just take it safely anywhere.
Yeah. And it's magical, Father. Yesterday I was on a flight and I was just saying non-stop, and how beautifully everything got organized. I got a different seat, but then they changed my seat, and they changed my seat without me wanting or asking for it, even though I wanted it in my heart. And where I sat, I was able to help a young mother with two children, and even she was saying that, Babaji, like Guru Nanak's follower, how beautifully Babaji put two people together who could help each other. And I just realized, Father, what, like, without sometimes, God just takes care of everything so beautifully, and we just need to be with the Naam. And thank you, fathers. I just ask for your blessings that I don't forget the name, because the habit does take me away, Father, a lot of times, which I realize now.
Very good, very good. Bless you, bless you. And we are also seeing that
Thank you.
with the walking temple, for example, we are putting ourselves more and more out there in the world, and just we end up just in the nick of time meeting someone who needs some assistance with something or some help with something, and that keeps happening over and over again. But God's grace is so apparent in these things.
Yeah, it's just like how Sudama's story, Father, that you just told us. Father, I realize that the only prayer now I have for God is to increase love for Him and devotion and remembrance, because the mind, Father, just takes over so strongly at times. Because you have made us realize, Father, that this is the only gold, only wealth to have. So, Father, is that all right for us to only ask for that from Him? Like Sudamaji didn't even ask for that, but that's the only prayer I have, because somewhere I feel I'm not even able to love Him as much, as you ask us to, or as you guide us to, rather.
It's very beautiful what you're saying. It's very beautiful what you're saying. As we naturally grow, and I'm just a beginner in this, but as we naturally grow, it will become more and more about let my existence give you the tiniest bit of joy in some way. Let my being give you the tiniest bit of peace in some way. What is it that I can bring, not in an arrogant way, but in the most humble way, that you are already taking care of everything. Let my existence be to serve you. And what is the way in which God, of course, we know needs nothing from us, wants nothing from us, But just to switch the process, just to switch the system to say, what should I ask for? What can I pray for? To say, how much more of myself can I offer? Will my heart, will the love in my heart give him one moment of joy, one moment of peace? So then, when our love starts to grow this much, that we just want to. The only joy is in giving him joy. The only peace is in being pleasing to him.
That's so beautiful, Father. And I never thought I could be of any use to God, but now that you're saying it,
With this, that bhav, no? Just that
the bhav.
feeling in the heart to carry that, saying that I want to give myself to you in all ways. May you find joy, may you find love in my heart for you. And it is said that although it is true that God doesn't want anything, it is also said by the sages that God is constantly hankering for our love. It can sound strange to us, but he is a servant to his servants, the sages have said. He wants to serve his servants. So just that tiny, like we in India, like you talked about it just now, actually offering, creating prasad, creating bhog for God to taste. Then if our life becomes for him to taste, if my heart becomes for him to taste, then let him taste that love. What is it we want God to taste in our life? Self, love, peace, joy. So let our life be an offering to him. It's a complete switch from wanting me to how can I, what is pleasing to him, what is pleasing to her.
Thank you,
And there
Father.
are simple ways in which we get a sense of that. It can seem far-fetched, no? How will I ever know how am I, if I'm being pleasing to God? But you will know moment to moment. You see? The moment we pick up anger, irritation, pride, resentment, guilt, all of these things, we know that we sense the contraction in a way in our heart. It's not, don't look at it as some outer layer. But when you're loving, when you're forgiving, when you're smiling, when you're being slow to anger, when you're being quick to love, you see, you can sense him smiling in your heart. And the more time you spend in his presence, the more these textures will become apparent to you. So then your heart will become like a compass which guides you. Isn't it so beautiful to have a heart compass like that? Because all of us can be so confused about our lives, which way to go, what to do. Once we start to live in the guidance of the heart compass, where him being pleased is all that counts, then life is greatly simplified. It's not complicated, no? Then is he smiling? That's all. Is he happy with what is playing out through this expression? That's all.
Father, you had once mentioned sweeping the,
Yeah.
and I realized, Father, because there is so much irritation and judgment that comes in a routine day that I wasn't even aware of, Father, and I still feel. So it's almost like, Father, when we are offering ourselves, we are sweeping our heart, like how Ma Shabri used to sweep every day, thinking, Sri Ram is coming, anytime he may come. And she would clean her driveway, Father, every day of all the twigs and everything. Such a beautiful story, Father, no? And that's exactly,
I'm just laughing because you called it driveway, but
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the conditioning that we are in now. So it's just, I can see, Father, that without realizing the irritation, the judgments, but because now you have asked us to, be in remembrance, Father, it almost feels like, my God, how much irritation can a person have? Like, Father, I'm amazed at how much irritation, which I wasn't even aware of earlier. And like one thing is delayed, irritation would come. But now, Father, there is awareness of it for sure. And then Nam Jap starts. But it feels like a big, big order, Father. I don't know if it's even like how there's so much to clean, Father. How much to clean and clear. It's just.
you know what happens is that I'm going to follow the example set by the sages. So first they will tell you that it is enough to just take the name of God with the lips. Then they will say, but you have to do it with full emotion. And then they will say, oh, no, but you have to do it keeping His presence in your heart. You see, so the stages keep changing. So in the same way, I'm going to just say that just do, when you take the name of God, do it with as much as you can, do it with the sense that He's right there with you, she's right there with you. And because she's there, you are joyful, you are full of amazement, and you're full of love. So joyful, full of amazement, full of love. So Anandmaya, Vismayapurna, Premamaya. So Anandmaya is joyful, full of so much joy. Like if Ramji was sitting holding your hand right now, how much joy would you have? So invoke that joy, invoke that happiness. Then Vismayapurna, full of wonder, full of awe, so much wonder that he's here, she's here with me. So that's Vismayapurna. That's full of wonder, full of awe. Then Premamaya, so full of love. Just that He has made your heart into His home. How much love must there be in this relationship? So the more of all of this, more of ourselves in this way we can bring into our practice, then the deeper it will go. Am I saying that there is no value to mechanically chanting the name of God? There is immense value, more than we can imagine. But to remember God with joy, with love, with wonder is a great accelerant for our faith, is a great attempt at deepening our love. So the attempt in the spiritual project is to make His presence, that He is here, a reality, isn't it? From that which seemed only conceptual and far-fetched to living in a way that He's actually present, really here with us. You see? So the more we go in that direction, the more He reciprocates in our heart as well. They say that you take one step towards Him and He takes 100. It's much more than that what He does. But He does not force us. He waits for our consent. So is God with us right now? God is with us. So then why aren't we more joyful? Why aren't we full of more wonder? Why aren't we more brimming with love? So then, is this just wordplay or mind games or just a forced love? No, it is. These are reminders. These are reminders that where is our faith going to deepen? In this way, as our faith deepens, then you will see that in the lives of the sages, you will see that they lived with so much wonder, with so much awe, with so much joy, with so much love, and you wonder where it comes from. No? You see the lives of these sages, you wonder where do they get all this from? It is just from this ever deepening faith that he is right there, she is right there with us. The relationship that God has with you by living in your heart is much more intimate than if He had with you holding your hand throughout your life. So it all connects up to the urgency of this and not wasting any time. So God is reaching His hand out like that, and when we go to the me, what are we doing? Just, what do the kids say? We leave him hanging. What do you kids say? God has kept His hand out like this for you to hold, but you picked the ego instead. Then you left him hanging. No? What do you say? That's okay.
You said that the relationship that he can have with you in your heart is much more than he can have with you if he was holding your hand.
Yeah.
Could you say more about that?
Yes, look at the intimacy of that. Because we look for intimacy in outer relationships so much. We want these things to... It's cold. We can turn this off. So we keep hoping that there will be someone on the outside who will complete us, who will give us that peace in our heart, the sense of completion in our heart, that we want to be with someone where we feel like we don't want anything when we are with them. You see, all of that. But that sense of completion can only happen with the one who actually lives in your heart. His very presence is there. It is actually His absence that we are trying to fill through expecting completion from the outside. The absence of this meeting is the void that we are trying to complete through outer means. And once that intimacy in your heart starts to get recognized and deepen, you will see that this relationship is the most fulfilling. It's the most beautiful. And then our outer relationships become a reflection of this relationship. You see, I'm not saying that we must cut off our outer relationships. I'm saying that once you create your main relationship, then you are no longer in a grasping mode in other relationships. You see, you're complete in your heart. So then when you're looking at your other outer relationships, then you're not looking to get something out of it. You see? Which is completely contrary to the Mahamantra of the ego. What is the Mahamantra of the ego? What's in it for me? So constantly everything is what's in it for me, what am I getting, even in Satsang we can say, oh, but what am I getting, what am I understanding, what am I learning? All this me doesn't go. But once you feel so fulfilled in your heart that you let go of this grasping, there's no more what's in it for me, then how would your life be? So he feeds us directly in our heart, It's like a transfusion direct to the roots.
Since I spoke to you a few minutes ago, and I asked you to bless me to give up all that I want, there is this energy a bit unsettled, so I would like your help to come back to my heart.
Just look at everything from your heart itself. Because there is some energy or some constriction, then that doesn't mean that you've left your heart.
Yeah.
Just stay in your heart and just through the eyes of the heart itself see everything. Then you will not see anything as opposing you.
I gave some
Otherwise we
interpretation.
can get back into wanting, by wanting the energy to go or wanting something to be different. You see? So what was the blessing asked for? That may I not want anything but His love, to deepen in His love. Isn't it? So we said like that. Then some energy came, suppose. Then we are not to use our wanting on that and say, I want this now to go away because this is blocking me. Then we are back to desiring. That, as they say very simplistically in spirituality, we don't mind whatever happens.
I believed in it as a resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see? And then once you label it as resistance, then obviously implied in the word resistance is the wanting it to go.
Yeah.
You see? So you're resisting the resistance. Isn't it? With the label resistance, resist the resistance. Try not minding anything that appears in your life.
Yeah. Thank you.
Every single, and I'll give you a reason to not mind anything that appears in your life, which is that every single moment of your experience is designed by God Himself. Nothing comes to you without His permission. Like some of you, I've mentioned this before, may remember that in the book of Job, even the devil had to take God's permission before troubling Job. So everything is with God's permission. So don't mind. Don't mind literally means don't give it to the mind. Isn't it? Just don't mind. Heart. Don't mind, comma, heart. Meet it in the heart instead of the mind. Just imagine a day where you did not mind anything that happened. How would it be? Are you going to the mind to analyze? Pass the mic back.
So, Father, like, if something happens, when I try to say that this is from God, but there is a sense of doership that I have to do something to do it, and there is something that why is it so difficult, or how to make it easier, and something like that. So actually, when you say don't mind what is happening, like should I not do anything, or
Do you need your mind to do?
like Father, in the moment it feels like I have to, like mind is required.
Yes, but in satsang we are trying to break through the barriers of what things seem like or what they feel like to recognize what they actually are like. Huh? So right now you're nodding your head. So did your mind say you have to nod? No, isn't it happening naturally? In the same way, what draws the boundary to where I need to engage with my conceptual thinking, rather than being guided by my heart? That is what we have to work through. So inbuilt in your question was the idea that unless I mind, how will I do? That's just not true, otherwise satsang would never happen, isn't it? If you came to satsang to get immersed in conceptual ideas or just thoughts of one Ananta, then that would be a very oppressive place to come to. It would be like a political rally or something. So it is possible for all movement, all action to happen from the heart. I often used to take this example, it came the other day also, that how does a bird in the first year of its life know when the season is changing and migrate in the first year alone, fly in exactly the right direction, land in the exact spot where it is meant to land? How does it know? Who flaps its wings? Who gave it a sense that you have to start flapping now, go in this direction, land over there? So there is a much higher intelligence which is guiding all our lives. But in humanity we've just lost touch with that. We've lost touch with that because of our me, because of our wanting for the me. Once we let go of the steering wheel, we realize that the greatest driver in the universe is driving the car.
Yes, Father, and in fact, I see there is a lot of pride and expectation also. Even
Don't
though
do this with your cars.
like there's always a pride and expectation. Like suppose even if I want to try to let go and let a heart guide, then at a later stage I try to analyze what happened, whether it happened right or not, and it could have been better. So I see those oppressive nature, Father.
In your spirituality, what is your main attempt? And what are you trying to really accomplish?
Try to bring God in center. And
why?
Because this me that is oppressive, that does not exist. Only God exists, and you have taught us that God should be in the center of the frame.
So who has to see that?
Who has to see that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, instead of trying to accomplish or achieve in spirituality, just try to love God more. Then all this will ease up a bit.
Father, that the Leela Chintan, this website you have created, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And so we were out and I just opened this one where Krishna is smiling and that Manda Manda Muskai, and that it just, at that moment I was just like in that chaotic moment, it just brought so much love, and I wanted to keep remembering him like that, but I don't know, something else, like I sat with it, like with him, and felt the love, but I don't know what else to do with it. Like something, some thought came, something happening. But there was this desire that, okay, that man mand muskai, and that, oh, to see him, oh, Krishna is smiling. So that was like great gift today.
Very good. So on this path of Leela Chintan, which in the West is called gospel contemplation, we just allow ourselves to immerse as much in God, as much in her, in him as possible, in all our faculties. So you're talking about a contemplative scene where Lord Krishna is just subtly, gently smiling. What is mand mand? He's just gently smiling, and that, just that image of that remembrance of that brings joy to our hearts. And there's full freedom on this path. You're free to pick whichever scenes of the Leela. God has played so many different Leelas in so many different incarnations. You can, every bhav there's Leela that he's played, so you can pick whatever you like. The idea, like we said on the Bhakti path, is immerse ourselves more and more in remembrance of God, to make God the central character of the narrative, instead of trying to keep the narrative empty. So it's just, there's so much freedom, so much joy in that path. You can enjoy God in so many different ways. So just, and be patient with yourself. Don't, when you read the words of sages, they will say, oh, in their contemplation they had these divine visions. You see, they were transported to heaven itself and they saw what is happening there. Don't be impatient with yourself right now. Just for now, enjoy the love that you're feeling through the use of imagination, memory, all of that. Now, the sages have told us that whatever can be represented in the world is just a mere meek representation of what is true in heaven, what is true in His presence. You see, so whether you follow Plato's theory of forms, or you feel like what Bhaiji said is true, they said exactly the same thing, that the essence of what we experience even in the world, in its truest, in its purest form, is close to God. You see? So okay, so let's say that the idea of the Lord smiling touched our heart somewhere and it brought us love. You see? Now, the true smile, the essence of a smile is in heaven, is in Swarga, Vaikunt, or whatever word you want to use. Basically is in God's presence. It comes from God. The root of that comes from God. So the essence is represented in millions, billions of ways. You see? So we start with meeting one of the representative ways. You see? But our prayer, our deepening brings us to the essence itself. You see? So in the form, we meet the instance of that form. You see, we meet an instance, a representation, like in object-oriented programming. I don't know how many of your programmers, you create an instance of that object, but the true object is defined somewhere else. You see, in the same way, the Lord. You see? So if we say that Ma Shabri looked at Ramji as he was coming, she felt a sense of joy. You see, so that which we feel as joy in the world when some beloved comes is an instance of that joy which is truly to be found in God's presence, in God's heart. And to be closer and closer to Him, then we define things like heaven or Swarg or Vaikunt or Golok or whatever, so many different names these sages have said. So divine vision, greater insight, all of these will come. As we love God more and more, we want to be with God more and more. So all of this will come. So, but we must not rush into, oh, what was imagination, what was memory, what was divine vision, was I just don't get into, because then we'll quickly get into pride. Not that your question didn't have any of this, I'm just sharing. You see, that which can just seem like, what kind of daydreaming are we doing? What is this Leela Chintan thing? You see, it's not daydreaming. The point is to meet God in all His ways, in all His essential ways. You see, so we may start with very outer layer beauty, which itself is so beautiful, and then we keep deepening in our heart. So then we learn to live in the kingdom within before this body goes itself. So it is said that the sages have said that right now we are living in a realm of death. You see, Mrityulok. We live in a realm where things are born and things die. But the true essence of all that even appears in this realm of death is from the realm of the deathless. So the attempt in our contemplative prayer in this way is to meet God in the realm of the deathless itself. So same with the negating path is to meet that which is beyond birth and death, and the same on these other pathways as well. I'm nobody actually to talk so much about this part. Just a beginner myself. What happened to Ma Mirabai? As a young child itself, she saw an idol of Lord Krishna, and she said that this is my husband. I am wedded to him for life now. There is nobody ever going to take his place in my heart. Then did she lead a life of hallucination after that? She's one of the greatest sages. So the Lord loves us the way that we want to love Him or her. Whichever bhav we bring to God will be acceptable to Him. So we are learning so many different textures of loving God. Now please none of you get into any pressure about what am I supposed to do now. You see? Because one day we are doing the Hari Part every day, one day we are doing the Hari Nam Sankirtanam, one day we are doing then we are doing the walking temple, then we are doing bhajan, then we are doing name chanting, Nirantar we should do, then we are doing Leela Chintan, then we are doing Niti Niti, then we are doing self-inquiry. All of this. It's not. It is just to introduce you to the buffet. If the buffet is laid out, you don't have to eat every dish. Pick the section that you want, pick what attracts you in the moment. You see? You may start with something, then you may feel like you want a taste of something else. Your heart will guide you in these things. As long as you're not selfish in your pursuit, and your attempt is to love God, love the truth, you will be kept on in the right way. But it is not something that you have to do everything that is being shared, and follow everything that is being done. Bhagavad Gita, we have started them many unfinished projects. No? Maybe they'll be unfinished for a long time, but it's so beautiful the way the Atma's curriculum moves. there's a chair at the back if it's too much. So don't get intimidated by me. It's not like a classroom curriculum that you have to finish all the sections. Whatever your heart is drawn to is fine. And some of these things, I feel like we are at a point in the Sangha where some of you can help to keep some of these things in their own momentum. Like a few of you can take the Hari-Part thing and say, okay, we will do it every day, twice a day, or at least once a day. Somebody will say, okay, now can I lead this Bhagavad Gita project? So you can start leading. Can I go to Sanobar first and then we go to Sami?
Hi, Father. Namaste.
Hello.
Okay, it's actually I'm at a dentist and it's going to be my, but whatever, I'll just finish it fast.
I can't hear
I
you so
just
well, maybe.
okay, I'll just 1 second. I'll speak louder.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can
Okay,
hear you well now. Yes.
okay. So like sometimes, I feel so angry. First of all, I really don't know who this God is, because it's like
I feel so
uh,
angry, but I lost you after that. Can I have the mic?
okay. Many times I don't understand who this God is, because when I sit in meditation, I just feel that and then I feel that I don't have a name for it. But for me, when you say love God, be with God, etc., I feel he's someone external who I can't relate to, because I really can't love someone external. Maybe that's the ego, I don't know, but as much as I can love the my silent self. I mean, maybe that's ego. And the second thing is, if God knows my one desire for a lifetime, I've been angry with God. Like, why didn't I get that desire? And I mean, I know it's Maya and I'm growing, but because God wants to grow, He's using me as a tool and growing Himself. What about me? Even if in Maya Nagri, I just wanted that experience. I wanted the most basic experience which the world has, and so that anger, like uh, and I can't love him at that time. I'm like, no, and I feel angry. That's it, and I react. I don't know how to not react. I react and then I feel better. I cry, I feel better. I I get angry, I feel better, and then I have nothing in my heart, no grudge, nothing. So, and my autonomous nervous system feels at peace. It feels more aligned with, it feels now I can meditate once I vent it out. So, so this is, I mean, I don't know what I've asked. Maybe, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's see what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the trouble that we have on the spiritual path is because we cannot understand. That we cannot understand. But if I remember correctly, last time you told me that you're a filmmaker.
Yes,
So,
yes, Father.
so one of the famous dialogues in a film was that मैं समझ में नहीं मैं दिल में आता हूँ.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Right, right. Yeah.
are you willing to accept a life where you may not understand most of what is going on, but you feel like your heart is developing the skill, the capacity to guide your life more and more? You see, it says, they say that when one sense is not working, then the other senses become amplified.
Yes,
So,
that is happening, but I don't want to accept. I'm forced to accept it.
I
You
don't
know,
want to. Can you repeat that?
I don't want to. Yeah, one of my my intuition, my everything is becoming stronger. Whatever I think, it does come to pass. Yeah, but this power has come out of force. I mean, I've been forced. Okay, fine. If you don't get this, I'm giving you this. But no, I want that. Don't give me some other power. If I'm blind, I don't want to be blind. I want to see. So, yeah.
The in the spiritual pathway, we will have to we will have to let go of what we think we want. No, so it's not possible for you to hold on to uh, these conceptual desires which the mind will throw at you and still find uh, a, a home in God's presence, because the spiritual pathway initially will seem like it is not self-serving but it is self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
uh, suppose that there was someone whose conditioning was only about the world, and all they could
Mm-hmm.
understand is the world and name and form and all of these things. So all that then they could want, because they've been immersed in
Mm-hmm.
the world so much, is
Yeah.
through the lens of that name, form, me at the center, all of these things. Now,
Yes.
for one who is trying to go beyond these restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
these
Mm-hmm.
boundaries of what is perceptually apparent, to meet that which is beyond, that which is called the
Mm-hmm.
inside, then then they cannot have what they think they want. They have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to surrender their want to what God wants. You see, it's just like, to put it simply, I've said some complicated words. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't take off in an aeroplane and still have one foot on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Okay.
it is also clear that if you want to lead a life of God, for God, then
Mm-hmm.
we have to let go of what we currently think we want or what we currently think we need. Easy. And God,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, otherwise, what will happen for many of us, God, the relationship with God can feel like a relationship with a genie or something. That
Mm-hmm.
I pray to you, or I
Mm-hmm.
love you, then you should give me this in return, then how can you not give
Mm-hmm.
me that in return? But God is not going to not going to create that impression deeply that he is some sort of a genie.
Mm-hmm.
So it is
Yeah.
more about following what he wants out of our lives rather than him following what desire we may have.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I'll just tonight
So it
I'll
is,
inquire this and ponder on this pattern. Thank you so much.
if any of this seems tough and seems very difficult, then what you could do is inquire into the nature of this me that
Mm-hmm.
wants, the me that gets angry, the me that desires. This me is which one? Where is that one?
Yeah, it's like sometimes I've been this particular person, if I take, I've been so good to her. I've been forgiving, I've been asking for forgiveness, etc., etc. Years and years. किसी और को भेज. Years and
But
years.
this
But
I is which one?
okay, okay, okay. But yeah, I understand. This I is the Maya ego I, and
Okay, so who
I've been
notices? We have to go really
yeah.
slowly, my child, in this one. Okay, let's go slowly. So, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the I that notices that this is Maya, is that also
Mm-hmm.
Maya?
No. Or once.
Okay,
Um,
so that
Mostly no. Mostly
which
no.
witnesses Maya,
Hmm.
the witnessing of Maya happens in which eye? Who is that who witnesses even
The
Maya?
the the consciousness, the all that there is.
Yes, so just speak from what your insight is, what you're noticing, and tell me what this eye wants.
It wants bliss. It does not even want bliss. It is bliss. And yeah, it is bliss. But when certain things happen, because I'm not there right now. So when certain things happen in this world, I do react.
Yes,
And
but now this I, that one
mhm,
that is witnessing all of this play of Maya, does
mhm,
that change? Does that become
no,
reactive or non-reactive?
no,
So then, are
no.
there two of you?
Are they two? Sorry?
Are there two of you? This I, which is the witness, and
Uh-huh.
the other I, which is reactive and all
Uh-huh.
accepting.
They're different.
Okay, so which one
Um,
is the true you?
that does not change.
That does not change. So, when
Mm,
we accept the I which I really am not to be my reality, that is when we fall
mm.
into Maya. That is called the me.
Yeah.
When we fall into this
Yeah.
me, then we are falling into Maya, and then this me is not to be relied on because it doesn't have any stability, it doesn't have any actual substance or reality, it's just a
Mhm.
made up idea.
So the illusion, it's an illusion to be loved even with by your blood relations, right? I mean, I sometimes feel less loved by people I think should love me enough, and I feel like a second priority, and for no reason. I mean, everything I'm talking of Maya, but like after sacrifices, after everything, you feel to be loved, maybe the desire is there. Now I realize that desire is there, or if I'm feeling unloved, that's happening for my growth because sorry, all I've been is love for anybody in this world. I mean, I'm talking very humbly, but I know I've been very conscious of what I'm giving to the world, what I'm being. And so I've been very conscious of being loved in the best of my capacity. Maybe I'm not, but whatever I can. And if I'm not reciprocated, some days there's a strong feeling of being non-loved, unloved, and at that time it really triggers. It really triggers, and uh, and I don't want to react. Very honestly, I do not want to react. And after reacting, I'm like, when will I learn not to react? And it has to be natural. I don't want to suppress it. It has to be very natural that I'm not reacting. Like I don't react to strangers at all. But to family, I do react. And I want to stop that. Though it's become the refractory period has become very small. When it was months and days, and now it's moments of reaction, a few seconds maybe, and then it's gone. I forget. I've forgotten it. But even that time, it is so intense, and I'm trying to. I think only self work would get me there, right?
Thank you for sharing openly and honestly. So, there are many pathways to come to peace, to come to joy, to come to acceptance. Uh, I pray for you firstly that you receive all the love that you want in your life and you don't feel unloved at all. My
Thank
full,
you.
my full prayers are with you for this.
It means a
Now,
lot. Yeah.
thank you. I bless you. I bless you. Now, there are many ways in which the world has created solutions or tried to create solutions for this me in this world. You see, my feeling, and I'm often wrong about many things, but my feeling is that uh, most of these solutions don't work because, in their very substance, at the very center, there is no substance. You see? So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the pathway to God really works because God is the one, only one with some substance. Our
Mm-hmm.
life is actually His life. He is the substance in our lives. So,
Mm-hmm.
for this coming to the substance of our life, so all of these uh, problems in our life start to reduce and start to deplete.
Mm-hmm.
There are two pathways that I suggest. One is to stay with the truth of who we are and not fall for the false identity.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
second is to offer everything in love for God and to offer our life to God and
Mm-hmm.
everything surrendered in this life to God.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two main pathways that I share, I talk about, because these
Mm-hmm.
I feel like bring us to a lasting peace, a lasting
Mm-hmm.
contentment. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I may sound biased in this, I may be very wrong in this, but I find most other pathways to be
Mm-hmm.
like just band-aid short-term solutions,
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
bring us to that peace, that love, that joy that we want. So,
Mm-hmm.
so my humble submission to you is to
Mm-hmm.
deeply explore the
Mm-hmm.
pathways, like you talked about a
Mm-hmm.
pathway called self-love. You see, now
Mm-hmm.
that that sounds very confusing to me because which is the self we are meant to love? Is it the
Mm-hmm.
true self?
Mm-hmm.
Is it this
The same.
identity?
No, 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 not this body, not this. The silence that remains in the deeper state of meditations. I mean, beyond the senses. That state, that self. I mean, I don't have a word for it. So that self.
That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah. But then
so.
I also feel okay if especially when I feel unloved, and the question arises: even does even whoever God is, he, she, or the self, does it love me?
Yeah.
But then again, yeah.
So I feel like because you're so inquisitive and you have these questions, I feel the path of the truth is very appropriate for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
to find out whether God loves you, you have to either find out who this you is or who God is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
We can't
Yes. That's my
speculate on
question. Yes.
either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like either
Yes.
we
Yes.
have to at least find out who is this me, or we
Yes.
have to find out who is God. Now, you
Yes.
probably have heard that looking for either brings us to the same place, but we
Mm-hmm.
have to still come to that looking, come to that insight, isn't it? So,
Mm-hmm.
like in your question, there were two sides. Does this God really love me? But if we say, uh,
But
does,
it's the same as the self and God is the same.
uh, uh,
So
so,
it's
so
already. Mm-hmm.
yes. So, but this cannot just be a conceptual understanding. It has
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
become a living insight
Applied.
for us.
Yeah.
It has to become
Yeah.
something that it becomes so clear that I don't have to think about it. You
Yeah.
see, like right now, you don't have to think that you are, there is a ground under you. No?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
It is just apparent that if you're
Yes.
sitting, then you don't have
Mm.
to think that you're sitting, or if you're standing, you don't have to think that
Yes.
you're standing. In the same
Yes.
way, the oneness of God and the self has to
Mm-hmm.
become our insight in that way, a living
Mm-hmm.
insight which doesn't
Mm-hmm.
wait for a conceptual reminder to bring us back to
Yes.
peace. You see, otherwise, what will
Mm-hmm.
happen is that in
Mm-hmm.
Maya we'll get into so much suffering that we'll forget to
Mm-hmm.
remind ourselves of the oneness with
Mm-hmm.
God. You see? So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what I would
Yes.
say is that we did some part of the inquiry today where we looked at who is this I really? You see, who is this I
Mm-hmm.
really? Is it the unchanging witness, or is it the body mind and the identity of the
Mm-hmm.
body mind? And
Mm-hmm.
then, for some time in spirituality, I would recommend you take a resolve to say, I will not refer to myself as the false
Mm-hmm.
identity. I will not pick
Okay.
up the false identity no matter how compelling the situation may seem. You see, so
Okay.
that resolve then will make us used to living in the higher truths. Otherwise, what is
Yes.
happening for you is that you have very sweetly, very nicely studied a lot of spirituality, but now that
Mm-hmm.
studying has to become digested into your living inside. It
Yes.
has to become so deeply ingrained in your heart that the
Mm-hmm.
confusion which causes suffering, this duality
Yes.
which causes suffering, will then be
Mm-hmm.
chopped away from your life.
Okay. Makes good sense. I'll do that. I'll just make the resolve. And since the last satsang, I've not, I didn't meditate. I was like, and when I don't meditate, those are the times I actually get in the state of, these thoughts, this unlovedness, this Maya, this I. And so I believe now I don't. I mean, I should just keep up the meditation every day, and then maybe there'll be a time where I may not need the meditation, or I'll still be as rooted in the truth, even without the meditations. Even I'm just thinking aloud. That's it. Yeah.
So
Yes,
for
Father, I
now,
get the answer. Yeah. Yeah.
you identified correctly that life is
Mm-hmm.
showing you that you need to do the process of meditation or whatever
Yes.
process of inquiry
Yes.
or prayer or meditation, whatever
Yes.
till there comes a point where this duality, where this
Mm-hmm.
separation doesn't seem to be this real, and
Mm-hmm.
then your life itself. So it's not that you stop meditating, it is that
Mm-hmm.
your meditation becomes so natural that
Mm-hmm.
throughout your day it seems like
Mm-hmm.
you're not
It's
leaving your meditation.
meditation. Yeah. 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 Yes. Just one more thing I'll just add. Like the Rumi's quote is that, the last illusion of any human is to be loved. I mean, that's the last illusion. I mean, we come out of all the illusions, but in the end, one illusion remains, which is very tough to get over, to be loved. And once you get over that, you're free. So it just came to my mind while talking to you. And fine, I'll just make the resolve.
Yes, but
And
it's interesting what you said. So you said the last delusion of a human. So what if the human itself was the delusion?
yeah, yes, 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 yes,
But it's
yes,
worth exploring. Worth exploring.
yes, yes, yes. Fine.
Very good.
Thank you so much, so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I go to Roop first?
Yes, Roger.
Namaste.
Am I audible?
Just about.
Namaste.
It's not so clean,
Hello.
but yeah, we can try like this. Let's try.
Can you give me a minute?
It's a bit breaking, but we can try. We can try.
I don't know. अभी ठीक है? Is it okay?
It's better, better.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
I'm not able to hear you.
You're not able to hear, but you're audible.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. I just want to share something.
Yes.
Uh, Today, I was very well, mind energy was very high. The other side of my personality was telling me, "Am I audible?"
Yes, I'm trying to hear this.
Yeah, the other side of me was trying to tell me that it's only the clouds are passing. And mind energy was very, very high. And I gave up at last कि अब नहीं हो रहा, नाम जब भी नहीं हो रहा, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा. और सारा दिन आई जस्ट फोन लिया एंड आई कुछ भी देखा रैंडम. अभी शाम को आई नो कि सत्संग होने वाला, तो आई थॉट नहीं, ये मुझसे नहीं होगा. तो फिर मैंने आई जॉइन.
Very good.
अभी आई रियलाइज कि जो इवन द जो मुझे बता रहा था कि वो वो सेम ही है, इट वाज सेम. बट वो उस पॉइंट में मतलब कई बार लगता है कि नहीं हो पा रहा, इट वाज सो स्ट्रेसफुल. पर जो द वन हु वाज गाइडिंग मी, इट वाज आल्सो द सेम.
Yes. Many times all these obstacles come in our path where Maya itself poses to be the spiritual teacher in the mind. You see, Maya itself poses as if it is the guide to us in the mind.
Yeah.
But good you found out. Now you are not to despair, you are not to worry about the time that has gone past, because the one that makes you worry is also the same one.
Yes, हाँ जी.
So आपको क्या करना है कि अभी से without thinking about what happened in the day, you have to just regain your remembrance to God. One of my teachers, Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji, says that गिर गए हो तो उठ जाओ.
जी.
ये नहीं सोचना है कि क्यों गिर गए, कैसे गिर गए, कितना गिर गए, कैसे उठेंगे. We are not to think of all of that. We are just to get back up again, come back to the remembrance of God, because Maya will play these tricks in all our lives. But when we fall into Maya, we are not to fall into despair, because that is like falling into Maya twice.
जी.
तो ठीक है, आप वापस आ गए हो. आपने देख लिया है कि वो जो ट्रिक कर रहा था आपको माइंड में, वो भी माया ही है. तो नाउ यू आर क्लियर, नाउ यू रिटर्न टू गॉड.
जी 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 जी.
All is good, all is good. Now you return, it's all good.
Thank you, thank you.
Very good, very good. Next time if the connection is little better, we'll get to talk some more also. Okay, let's go to Samia.
Hi, Father. Can you hear me?
Yes, my child.
I don't know how people start to speak as soon as you invite them. I can't.
I can't.
No, you cannot hear?
I can hear. Shut the mic. Okay, try again.
Can you hear, Father?
Yes.
uh, I wanna share something which is happening again and again to you. And yeah, I need your guidance on that or whatever you wanna share. I was staying in friend's house, Father, about a week or so. And before I left, something happened, which is happening all the time actually in my life. And what is it that you have saved me, Father, from people pleasing. I was not doing so much that, but somehow you just remove that kind of thing from me years and years back. And it became very normal for me now. And it actually become unified with kindness and loving and understanding. It's not that I'm saying no to people. I'm still refrain to making set them like I'm doing everything for them if I can do. But even though I don't say no, like maybe my freedom is triggering for them, Father. And I see that again and again, and especially in our country, maybe around the world. I don't know this because I didn't live anywhere else. But the thing that you saved me from, especially in my country, in the woman, is just such a big thing. Like it's just, there is something, I can feel and see in people. Anyway, especially maybe not a man do this freedom they have, but when a woman has this, it's very triggering for both sides. Men are triggered, women are triggered. So again, this thing happened, and I was not saying no to anyone at all. I was just sharing, like, I don't feel to do this. Very freely, because as I said, it's just my very normal thing for me. And I'm spending time with people who can do this also. But yeah, the friend who I was staying with just before the argument happened, she told me, you are so able to say no freely, and I'm not able to do this. And even by sharing this, I was like, oh my God, it will come. I was like this, because when they realized this, I became the first one they threw a tantrum. It's not like I'm doing something to them, Father, at all. And maybe I said no very beautifully, just to do my meditation, actually, just to be with God. If I say no, it's for this, or just to be with God, whatever it is, like just following my heart. And she just gave incredible big reaction, just throw incredible tantrum on me. I was trying to say that, hey, it's not about me, I didn't do anything. But she was blind. And I know that, Father, but I know the force working through her. But first of all, I'm tired of this. Like, it's like I'm doing this. Maybe I don't want to say I'm doing God's work. It's not this, but it's again and again happening. But I'm so tired I cannot take your tantrum, Father. Like, I don't want this.
I also.
Hmm?
Can we make this rule in the Sangha also? No tantrums now. From now on, no tantrum.
Me?
both father and daughter will make this rule now. No tantrum. I don't want this anymore. I'm not saying you are tantruming. I'm saying both of us will form a group which is called No Tantrums Allowed.
I don't understand.
It just sounded very attractive to me what you said, no? That they should. I don't want any tantrums anymore.
Why they are laughing, Father?
No, they are laughing because all of them throw tantrum with me, so they're wondering where they will go now.
Yeah, I don't know how you can handle with this, but yeah, Father, I'm nothing. I don't have to bear this. So I left actually, because I left because I cannot behave differently after all these words. It's not just throw a tantrum. It was big words as well. And sometimes I can handle with people's tantrums. I don't decide that. I don't know how it happened. But this I could not bear, and I just left. And she tried to apologize, Father. She tried to speak, but it's not about this. I know that force. Like, she was not able to see now. So there is, I sometimes talking is not working, and I'm not a talkative person. I feel like, in my case, talking is not working. So.
I see.
But because it always happens with me, I don't know. I talked to someone from Sahaja, and she said, no, people doesn't throw tantrums to me always. So I was like, maybe it's something about me, like I'm allowing it or something. I don't know. That's why I wanted to bring this to you. Yeah, that's it for now.
May God bless you in the highest way that He feels, whether it is that in your life you don't have to encounter these situations again, or whether it is that they all feel very light to you. Whatever may be His grace, may it be that you remain in His holy presence no matter what the situation that the world is throwing at us, what Maya is throwing at us. I bless you, I pray for you. Yes?
Yeah, it works now. Thank you, Father, for your prayer. I just wanted to add again that, yeah, God can change it, and so grateful. But I don't know, Father, I just miss God a lot, and I don't know what does it mean. Actually, I want to share something with you. All these years, Father, also with you, you witnessed this. I was burning a lot. And I was not able to trust my pet or to Guruji. And always like seeing people on my country on the pet, I was like, because I also was not trusting myself, knowing my past, all this stuff, I was always comparing with myself with what I see. And I was not trusting Guruji, even though he granted me everything in the beginning. So you are. And recently what I see is that it's a little funny. What he granted to me in the beginning, but I was not sure, and I had the issue of trusting Guruji and throw tantrum to him. But I see that all the people that I compare myself with, and they are on the path, they are just doing what I was doing in the beginning, but they just came to this new, even though they are just so old. in the past. Anyway, it just showed me that how I was not trusting my path and Guruji, and I was doing unknowingly acting true, but I was forcing myself to be someone else, all this stuff. So I miss God and I miss Guruji, and I don't know how to come back to them again, but I would love to. I just miss myself, Father. I don't know. I love you.
Love you too, my child. So, just when you go to God, you go to everything. So, once you go to God, once you stay with Him, then everything else is beautifully taken care of.
I'm sorry to ask this, but what does it mean to be with God? What does it mean to stay with Him? Like before, maybe I have a taste of this, but now I cannot understand anything. So, what does it mean?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Excellent question. So, first is who is in the center of the frame right now? Is this about me or is this about God? So, first is at the level of the narrative itself. Who's in the middle of this narrative? Is it, if there is a narrative, is it about me or has it now switched to being about God? Is it God for me or is it me for God in that narrative? So once the narrative changes to God-centered or to be empty of the narrative itself, then naturally you're drawn to the temple, the door to the temple of God in your heart. Now, as you learn to live over there in that stillness, the revelation of God's presence happens, which is called Atma Darshan. So, to remain in that Atma Darshan, to remain in that presence of God, or to remain in that stillness waiting for Atma Darshan, is to remain with God. But first, it has to switch at the level of the narrative itself. If the narrative still has the me at the center, then we are yet to turn inwards in that moment. So we have to switch the narrative to make it God in the center, or we have to become empty of the narrative altogether. That is what it means to be with God.
Thank you, Father. So it doesn't have to be a taste, right? Can it be tasteless? Like what I mean is that before maybe I embrace this concept or whatever it is, before just to come to satsang, or there was a different taste, like so much light was coming up, energetically it was too much, but recently these things feel so natural. Even to be with you or all this stuff, it doesn't feel like before. So maybe that's why my mind could not understand and confuse. Like, I don't know, do you have something to say about this?
Yes. There are two things in this. The first thing is that when we turn inwards, many times because we have turned inwards, there is an outpouring from the inside of love, peace, joy. But that outpouring is not a constant. There are times where you will taste the outpouring and there are times of aridity. So great sages have also gone through times of aridity for many, many years at times. So, and God only knows what is best for us at what time, so He provides that. So the outpouring is not to be confused with the tasteless taste of the Atma within. You see, the Atma has a very transparent taste, like water, you see. But sometimes there is sweet in the water, sometimes there is flavor in the water, all that is the outpouring. So, we are not to confuse the outpouring for the taste of the Atma within. Now, when we learn to live in the presence of the Atma in Atma Darshan, then after that some very unique tastes are revealed to us, which there is no point talking about in this very human way. I think for now It is enough to recognize that as a gift from the inside we receive the outpourings of love, peace and joy, but these are not eternal, these are not timeless, they come and go as God sees fit. So sometimes to keep us humble, He makes it dry and arid. Sometimes to test our love for God, whether we are in it just for the taste or we are in it for God, He removes the taste. So we have to go through all of these periods, and after we go through all of these periods, then we come to the tasteless taste of His presence, which is the most thirst quenching tasteless taste. And then once we learn to live in that tasteless taste, then taste from a different place are given to us, which cannot be really put into words. Okay. Blessing, my child. Thank you. Okay, last one, Radhisham ji. राम
राम राम
राम।
फादर।
खुश रहो, खुश रहिए आप सब लोग, पूरा आशीर्वाद है आपके साथ।
थैंक यू फादर।